What is going on, everyone, and welcome back to the Gold Gal Getaways travel podcast. My name is Josh, and as always, I am joined each and every week that we do this podcast by my good friend Matt. How are you?
What's going on, Josh? It's been a while. We've been off for almost a month now.
It's been a while.
Yeah, I miss you.
I've been yes, I miss you as well. We've been busy. We've been doing all kinds of stuff. We had we had like GoldCon, which was like last week now?
Yeah, about a week and a half ago. You just did all the Run Disney events.
Just did all the Run Disney stuff. We were traveling a lot. Yeah,
a lot of things we can talk about tonight too. Before we get Eric to join the party.
Yes, there is. There's quite a bit that we can be talking about tonight. Hello, Andy, who is joining us in the chat.
Nice.
Yeah, so if you guys don't know who Gold Gal Getaways is, we are a full-service travel planning agency here to help you plan your next destination vacation, whether you have big kids, small kids, or no kids at all. We can help you plan your next trip to Disney, or maybe across the pond, maybe to Japan in 2023. I can't say anything more than that.
That's all we can say on that.
I know, right? That's it.
The 7-month teaser on that one.
I know. We are still waiting for some stuff to come back, and we haven't heard back yet. So, but yeah. So, if you're looking to plan your next destination vacation here to Walt Disney World or Disney Cruise Line, I'm really excited for Disney. We actually might be getting on a ship next month. We'll just have to wait and see. Yeah, I don't think we've talked about that yet, Matt. But
I missed your Patreon coffee talk the other day. So.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, we did talk a little bit about.
Sorry, that. I had real world responsibilities.
But, well, it's okay. So yeah, so we might be doing that, but no matter what it is, we are an earmarked travel agency as well, which means we know what we're talking about when it comes to Disney stuff. So we can help you navigate the theme parks, plan your dining reservations, and make sure that you don't miss
anything.
Anything that's happening. So. You can head on over to www.goldgalgetaways.com and start planning. Probably not tonight, but maybe tomorrow. So it'll be late.
We're always planning,
So, and with that being said, Eric has arrived.
There he is.
Oh.
Eric, how you doing, man?
Good. How are you guys doing?
Welcome back to the podcast, Eric.
Yes.
It's good to be back. I thought you guys didn't like me. It's been so long. Like 9 months now.
I mean, we don't keep tabs on that kind of stuff.
Neither do I. But
I do.
Clearly.
I go off of views. That's how people come back.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. So lowest viewed podcast out there.
You drew short straw. It's because you're my buddy. That's why. And you protected me during HHN.
That's true. Matt did survive.
I survived
HHN.
it.
He did. He survived.
It was. We can talk about that real quick for a second.
Let's talk about it.
It wasn't as bad as I think I hyped myself up to be like literally crying in the corner, just like petrified. You mean there were some houses that were cool, some that I expected to be scarier than others. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm not going to give my spoilers on which ones. And I mean, I like to keep it, even though it's already over. I think my favorite part was probably the interaction we had with Jack as we were going in one of the houses. I mean, he was literally right there having a full-blown conversation with Marianne about how they wanted to make a bet, but he doesn't bet money. He only bets souls.
Yes.
That was real. That was a very cool interaction that we had. And then we saw him as we were coming out of one of the houses, and he used some 4-letter words and told us to go back in the house, which was kind of cool. But I think I did my count of, I only had 3 jump scares in the houses, and then one in the street, which I think I'm not going to say that you and Marianne kind of set me up with the chainsaw guy, but at 1:45 in the morning in the rain, which our HHN experience was mostly in the rain. That late in the morning, long day, when someone's got a chainsaw in your face, it kind of freaks you out a little bit.
Surprises you.
Yeah, but overall, I was never a, like HHN person, but like I definitely do it again. I definitely like to try it next year, especially if they're going to get away from the COVID regulations maybe next year. Where this year you could kind of see where people are going to jump out at you. I know scare actors were kind of missing from certain areas where you'd think they would be, but how elaborate those houses are was mind blowing to me.
Yeah.
With how just detail oriented. I enjoyed it, and I would definitely spend money to do it again.
Well, I think most people tend to psych themselves out just because they think it's HHN Halloween Horror Nights, and I think most of the time, just like you, after they had that experience, they're like, "That really was not that bad," and I would love to go back and do it again. So, I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Right.
I knew you would.
I think the only thing I didn't like, and I know we all talked about this before, is it seemed extra busy and the lines were kind of weird for the express. I know we had a little interaction with a lovely worker at Universal, who doesn't know how to count correctly, but hey, that's
right.
That's why isn't working at Universal.
Yeah, I'm hoping next year they, like you said, they get rid of the COVID restrictions that they had, because at least for me, that's what I looked out for, so I knew where they were coming, or I'd watch out for Marianne and try to set her up.
my favorite was we were going into Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I was the leader of the pack. Somehow I got suckered into going leader of the pack, and there was a couple probably in their late 20s, early 30s in front of me, where you're walking in that like conga line, so like if something's going to jump out. And Leatherface jumped out 7 people in front of them. Like, how do you not see that? And then when they get up to it, they act like they didn't see it. They're sprinting by me, knocking me over. It was hilarious.
They fell to the ground.
It was amazing on how could you not tell that Leatherface is right around that corner, and he's got his chainsaw.
Yeah,
like it was crazy. But definitely do it again. Definitely, if you're going to do it, I recommend the Express Pass. You got to. That's a must, because we blitzed all the houses, and obviously the scare zones were just they were what they were because of the weather. We kind of didn't get it.
Yeah, and I think the scare zones too this year were just a little bit more lacking than previous years, whether that was budgetary or just because they just didn't have the amount of cast that they needed here in Florida. But
I think the cast was low, because it was, like I said, there was some areas where the plexiglass was up in the house, and you kind of look to see if someone's in there, and it's just a blank space.
Yeah.
I wish you could just tag in and just be like, hey, I'll just hang out in here for an hour and I can scare people.
Yeah.
And then a group of like 15, 20 people and just wait 10 seconds. That's all you really have to wait. It's just to create a gap between people. But I actually had a client that was there, and we were able to do, there's 10 houses.
Yeah.
We were able to do all of them with the Express Pass, and my client didn't get it, and she was only able to do maybe 5, 6 of them.
Yeah.
Like it was such a great experience. I will give a recommendation: if you're queasy or something, make sure you throw up before the house or after the house. That kind of handcuffed us to the people. I'm not going to call anybody out. They weren't with our group. I don't actually know who they are. We were curious on why the Express Pass line was not moving for our first house. I think Bride of Frankenstein, which, let's be honest, not that scary. It's not to the point where I'm going to get sick over it. But they had to stop, clean up the.
I mean,
come on.
Let's be honest. I mean, it's Halloween Horror Nights. It could very well be more than just the scares that got them a little sick. So, it's a little less family.
I pre-gamed.
Sure, I'm sure many people do. So it happens. But
yes,
don't do it when you're in line or going through the house.
Right.
The only one I could see that gets you that sick is Beetlejuice, the entrance. If you pre-gamed a lot before.
The tube.
The tube.
That tube. That's. I know we were talking about that. I went to another haunted houses up in New Hampshire to kind of prep myself. And I was like, oh, that was one of the things that kind of threw me off. And you're like, it's down here. The one in Halloween Horror Nights is 100 times worse than the one I was at Canopy Lake Park.
Oh,
in New
really?
Hampshire. Oh, yeah.
Okay. Nice.
But like that was fun. It's like, it felt like I had a 30 pack of beers.
Excellent. So I don't know. I think maybe should we break not that we have like a real set regimen. What am I trying to say? Not like we have a set like list here of how we do this podcast every week. But I think maybe we should just break right into tonight's topic.
Yeah.
So because it kind of spans across all of Florida, I think for the most part, right, Eric? We're not really just talking about Disney, so to speak. We can talk about Universal, SeaWorld, Busch Gardens,
even water parks.
The water parks as well. So I'll let you guys kind of just take it away.
So Eric, I'll lead this off. So as everybody's probably seen, what the topic of tonight is pretty much Pooh sized, bigger people going to the parks and still having an enjoyable experience and understanding what it's a good ride and for them and not a good ride, and getting an understanding of how to best navigate the parks being a bigger person. And Eric and I actually talked about this. We spent the day at Universal, and there was some rides that Eric couldn't get on with us, and that kind of really kind of popped in our heads and like, hey man, like this would be a great topic for the podcast. Hey dude, nice bottle. You got one too? Nice.
Oh, yeah, I did.
I thought that'd just be a great topic because it's something that doesn't get talked about a lot, but should be talked about. And seeing how Eric handled situations really opened my eyes to how we can help people out, especially being travel agents with this. So, Eric, I'm gonna let you go right into it. Like, just go. Hey, I'm giving you the ball, and you just run with it. And obviously, I'm gonna have some questions about it, just because we did, like I said, me and Ashley, we spent that day at Universal, and I'm gonna say, like, unfortunately, you were a quarter of the rides that we were able to go on.
Right.
Yeah.
So I am a Pooh-sized. I'm fat, big. Well, I'm part of big. I'm not tall. However you want to put it. I know certain people a little sensitive to how they call themselves. And I've experienced it as, having gone to Disney for so long. There are some rides used to be able to do that I couldn't do, that I can't do now. And even going to Busch Gardens, because I live 30 minutes from Busch Gardens, SeaWorld. Each park is different. And I used to kind of be ashamed of trying to do the tester seat. But now my confidence has grown. I don't care what people think about me, because realistically, you're not going to see most of these people again anyway. And so I've grown with the thick skin, and I can accept to where if I wait in line and I don't fit in the ride, I have no problem getting up and walking away. But I know I've seen some people get very emotional about it. So that's why we're talking about this now. I guess
Eric, real quick.
Yeah.
I want to just jump on piggyback of that, and like I want to commend you for that, because obviously, like when we were at Universal, it's like I think Ashley and I took it more personal about like you not being able to go on rides with us than you did. So that was tough on us. It's just like, man, like it sucks. But
yeah,
I commend you for having that great attitude to be able to just kind of like, it's all good, brother. Like when we went on one of the rides and you were able to get us butterbeer, like I appreciate you waiting in line for me.
I forget which ride that was. But yeah, and there's different aspects to it. Each ride is different. I mean, I don't know if we'll have time. We could break down each ride individually from all parks, but I know some rides, if you have smaller thighs or smaller legs, but you may have a bigger midsection, you may still be able to fit. It just depends on the seat. Like some seats don't give you that much leeway if you got quote unquote thunder thighs. or tree trunk for legs like I do. Others, you know, built that have the seats that they're able to fit that. So, like for example, well, I'll just start local here with Busch Gardens. They actually on their website, you know, they have a guest of exceptional size. In order to ride, all seatbelts, lap bars, and shoulder harnesses must be positioned and fastened properly. Due to rider restraint system requirements, guests of exceptional size may not be accommodated on some of our rides. Larger guests may experience difficulty on Kumba, Shikra, Montu, Falcon's Ferry, and Cheetah Hunt. Test seats are located in the ride entrance of these rides, and we recommend utilizing these before entering the ride queue. And for the most part, Busch Gardens, their seats, their tester seats, match up to how the actual ride seats are, because there are some rides in some theme parks where you may be able to say, the cast members or team members will say, oh yeah, you'll have no problem, go on. And you get to the ride and you can't ride it because they can't get an extra click. That's happened to me with Flight of Passage. So with Kumba at Busch Gardens, you know, a lot of Busch Gardens and SeaWorlds, you can ask for, you know, the bigger seat, and it has the two, if it has a strap down with the seatbelt clips, it'll have two seatbelt clips. So you can ask for that. There's some codes where if you're embarrassed to ask it that way, you can ask, oh, is there one that has extra leg room? However you want to do it, most cast members, team members, they'll know what you're talking about. And so Falcon's Ferry, I'm not sure, because if it's a free fall drop, I'm not doing it.
I hear you. That's not me either.
Tigress, I haven't done that one yet, or Cobra's Curse. Shikra, I have been able to do back when I had my quote unquote dad bod body. And same with Montu and Kumba. Congo River Rapids there. That's just like a seatbelt. The Serengeti Express, that's just a train, so that's just a bench. I don't have any problems there. Scorpion, that's like a beginner roller coaster. It's kind of in the middle between a regular roller coaster and the kids roller coaster, so that one has smaller seats. It doesn't have, their lap restraint comes down on you, kind of like Space Mountain at Magic Kingdom, even though there is a loop, but there's just that one lap bar that protects you. And then Cheetah Hunt, that one, I think that one has a restraint that comes over your shoulders. Again, just use
it does. And I think I'm pretty sure they have two different sets too, just like some of the other rides. Because my dad is, my dad's a lot larger, and he always has to make sure that he has one of those seats that has the extended, either over the top or whatever, to make sure. So that one definitely does too.
And then Iron Gwazi, that one opens up in March of 2022. If that's how the wooden roller coaster Gwazi was, then that's just well, yeah, maybe. That one would just be a lap restraint as well. And then SeaWorld Orlando, that one on their website, it says, in order to ride, all seatbelts, lap bars, and shoulder harnesses must be positioned and fastened properly. Due to that, you may have difficulty on Antarctica, Empire of the Penguin, Manta, Mako, Kraken, Journey to Atlantis, and the Sesame Street rides, and Wild Arctic. Journey to Atlantis is very similar to Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, the restraints. So it is very tight. So if you have, like I said, bigger legs, it may be tight for you, but that is the one that is probably easier for bigger people to do. And then Mako and Manta, their tester seats are actually in the line, so you have to start in the line and probably about like 20, 30 feet in is where their tester seat's at. So if there's a line that goes out of the queue, the entrance of the queue, you can talk to a team member and just say, hey, I want to go try on the tester seats, and they'll let you in there. And then Sesame Street with Slimy Slider, that's just a giant bar. It's bench style, but it's a bar that comes down. So if you're riding with kids, then you may just have to hold on to them a little bit, but that really just rotates in a circle. The Super Grover's Boxcar Derby, I believe that's the roller coaster. Again, if you're riding with the child, you just have to hold them and make sure that they're secure. And then, Matt, you were able to see Universal and Islands of Adventure.
Yeah,
that was my first time going in like 15 years. So
honestly, mine too. Yeah. I'm trying to think what you had trouble.
I think it was Jimmy Fallon. No.
Oh no. Well, right out the gate, just if we go
so
right,
it was Minions. It was Minions.
The Despicable Me. You had trouble, but I also think it didn't help that three of us of three different sizes were.
Yeah. So that bar, it doesn't have any give. So my suggestion, if you're a bigger person, ask to sit in the back row. Because they told me you may have more room in the back row, and I did. Because that bar just kind of folds down, and if your gut's in the way, it's coming down on it. I wish it could have taken some off, but it didn't. And then Jimmy Fallon, I think that one was just a seatbelt, but right. It may be a little bit tight because it's not easy clipping that seatbelt in. What was next? We did Mummy.
Yeah, you didn't go on Mummy.
Right? I've learned I can just look at a ride, especially if I've done it before, and I can just tell whether I'm going to fit or not. So if it's your first time going, or if you haven't been a while, then do the tester seat. And there's usually a team member, cast member there to help you. And because sometimes it'll have a light that it just has to turn a different color, and it lets you know that you're all clear. You could ride the ride. Or sometimes there's a little marker that on the back that a team member has to view, and they'll tell you whether you'll be able to go or not. Actually, I think Universal, we did those, and then we took the train over to Islands of Adventure.
Yep.
Hogwarts Express. That one's just a bench, so there's no issue on that. I think so. Based on Universal and Islands of Adventure website, the rides, if your waistline is at least 40 inches or greater, then you may have problems on Doctor Doom's Fearfall. Which I won't do that. I did that once, and that was enough. Dudley Do-Right's Ripsaw Falls, Hagrid's Magical Creatures Motorbike Adventure, Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey, The Incredible Hulk Coaster. I know that one does have tester seats, and they do have the one with the double clip for bigger bodies, and Jurassic World Velocicoaster. I have some issues. That's on the Islands of Adventure side. Universal, Escape from Gringotts, you may run into some trouble, and the Rip Ride Rocket as well. Also, like I said, the Race Through Jimmy Fallon, that one's a seatbelt, but you may just have problems. You might have to have someone help you clip your seatbelt. I think, Matt, you had to help me because it's kind of tucked down underneath.
Yeah, it's a weird, like, for anybody. It's just kind of awkward to kind of get into that corner. So they have those like little holes. So use your buddy to help you out.
Yeah.
Sorry, did you try to ride Escape from Gringotts?
I don't think either one of us did.
Okay.
No.
Okay. I was just curious because I think the ride vehicles are almost the same as the Mummy. I mean, the track system is obviously very different. But I was just curious. So, okay.
I think because which one did you and Ashley go on? Was that the Forbidden Journey? Or?
Yeah, Forbidden Journey, which was a little bit crazier than I expected it to be.
Yeah.
They say Amazing Adventures of Spider-Man, but I didn't have any problems with that.
No.
Cat in the Hat, from my memory, that's almost like a same car as Winnie the Pooh, Magic Kingdom.
Yep.
Jurassic Park River Adventure.
No problem with that.
No problem. The only problem with that was I had my backpack with me, so the legroom was tight. But if I didn't have my backpack, I wouldn't have a problem. Talk about Despicable Me. We didn't do Men in Black or the Simpsons rides or T or Transformers. And then the Fast and the Furious ride, that's just a bench, so there's no issues or problems on there. So let's see, what did we cover? Busch Gardens, SeaWorld. Now I guess we're saving the big one for last. So with Disney, we'll start with Magic Kingdom. Obviously with Buzz, there's no issue on that because it closes in forward on you. And then the best ride there, the People Mover, there's no issue there.
Right. And you got to think Buzz and Haunted Mansion are pretty much the same ride vehicle.
Right. Even Ariel, Little Mermaid.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Space Mountain, there's no issue.
You were right because you and I went on that together. You were right in front of me.
I would probably say the front has a little bit more room than the back two seats. So if you're worried about that, ask for the front because you get a little bit more leg room.
Eric, we did get a little rebellious because I was looking through the pitches. But Josh, I know you weren't with us at this time. Eric and I, Dumbo, same elephant.
Oh yeah,
yeah. That was we were having a great time. We made it work.
I was surprised that I thought the lift was going to break.
We were talking about if it was going to fall, like if it was going to snap, like where it would end up. We were thinking we'd end up by Tron somewhere.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Depending if it snapped when you were raising it.
Right.
And then Barnstormer, I would recommend going by yourself. I've gone with my oldest daughter on there and had to hold her in tight. And sometimes the cast members, they'll see if it's mostly like an adult party, they told us we could each have our own seat.
Yeah.
Trying to work in a circle. Ariel, we talked about. Teacups is a little bit tight with the wheel. I think you could probably fit maybe two big people.
I mean that's a tough ride. I think even to get like families inside, like just parents and just two younger like small kids.
Yeah,
and that's a tight one, kind of all around.
I've done it with even with my wife, my daughter, and I. It was like you said with families, it was tight.
Yeah.
Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, that is a real tight one. Even when I was smaller, it was tight. So I think I would have to, maybe if I start running on Saturdays with Josh for a year, I might be able to.
Well, and the ride vehicle for that one too is because Taylor's stepdad used to be a lot larger. He's lost quite a bit of weight, but he's also very, very tall. And that one, I mean, he gets in there, but he says it's one of the most uncomfortable attractions, I think, on Disney, just because, his knees are like trying to come up above, where they're not supposed to be really. So not to mention then it's
the restraint. So. Like you have the bar that comes down on basically your, depending what side of the car you're on your leg. Yeah. So I'm trying to think visually where I'm at. It's a small world, no problem there. I'd probably ask for front of the boat for a little bit more leg room. If you sit in the back, it's a little bit tighter, but it's still doable. Peter Pan, there's no issue. Obviously with the carousel, no problems there.
Okay.
Haunted Mansion, there's no issues. Josh's favorite, Splash Mountain. Again, I sat in the front on that one.
Josh, that was probably so. Obviously, experiences with Josh going on Splash Mountain is probably very memorable because of how much he despises wet pants. But when you put Eric and I in the front, and that the weight of it is just a little bit more top heavy. It was a very fun landing.
Well, as long as you guys didn't duck down, I mean, you should have.
Oh no, we took it like champs,
Yeah.
but it was coming up the sides. It was
because I was recording with my phone, so I have it where it's just the water is just shooting right at me.
Nice.
And then Thunder Mountain, it could be a little tight, but there's no issue on there. I think I rode there with another adult, and kind of felt bad for him because I thought I might have been squishing him at the turn sometimes, but he said there was no issue. Pirates of the Caribbean, there's, depending where you're sitting, like, again, I'd probably recommend the front or something. You might have a little discomfort, which is the amount of leg room or lack of leg room you could have. Aladdin's Magic Carpet, there's no issue on there. It's the same as Dumbo. And I think I hit all the Magic Kingdom parks.
Right, yeah. And Jungle Cruise is just Jungle Cruise.
Yeah,
that's fine.
Almost open seating,
right.
No restraints there. So,
and then with Epcot, Test Track maybe a little bit tight with those seats, just because it's kind of have you sitting in the back. So again, if you have bigger legs, then you may run into some issues. Mission Space, I think I did that last year and I didn't have an issue. Ratatouille.
Oh yeah, Ratatouille too.
Yeah,
no issue on there. Soarin's no issue.
Yeah.
Obviously with the Land and the Nemo, there's no issue, and I think that's all the rides at Epcot.
Yeah, Figment, no issue, right?
Figment, no issue.
No issue. Right, there's a lot of the seating there is a lot.
Yeah, it's more bench style.
Bench style, right?
And then Hollywood Studios, Star Tours. Again, the seatbelt may be a little bit tight. You may have an issue with the seatbelt, but I don't have any issues with that. Rise of the Resistance, again, it may be a little tight and difficult with the seatbelt, but I had no problem. I rode that. I've ridden that a couple times. Millennium Falcon, no issues. Swirling Saucers in Toy Story. Alien Swirling Saucers, no issues. No issues with Toy Story Mania. Slinky Dog, you may run into an issue because that tends to be a little bit tighter. But if I remember correctly, I think that's individual lap bar restraints.
Is it lap bar or is it seatbelts?
Which ride is this?
Bar, right? Slinky?
Slinky.
It's lap bar, isn't it?
I think it is lap bar. I think you're right. I think so.
And then
you've got Rock and Roller Coaster and Tower.
Rock and Roller Coaster could be a little bit tighter. And then Tower of Terror, that's a seatbelt, so there's no issue size-wise on that. It's just gut instinct that could be your issue. So if you don't like free fall rides, then I wouldn't suggest that.
Nope.
And then Animal Kingdom, I have no issue on Dinosaur. Everest could be a little bit tight.
Right, that is.
And then what's the water ride?
You're all right. You're all right.
What's the water ride at Animal Kingdom?
Cali River Rapids.
Cali River Rapids. That's the rapid ride. I have no issues there.
My second least favorite ride.
I think I've only done that one once.
That's all you need. You don't need to do it anymore.
Obviously the Safari, there's no issue. And then Flight of Passage again. That one I would do with a grain of salt, even if they on the test seat, if it says you're going to clear, just know there's a chance that that you could not go on it. Like, so with that one on the test seat, there's an arrow that kind of goes between a bar. And if it's in the green, you're good to go. If it's in the red, they'll tell you, unfortunately, you can't go on it. I was halfway up on that, and the cast member said I have no issue. I waited 90 minutes, got it up there, and just the cast member I got didn't want to. I got one click on my seat, on my restraint, but she didn't want to do the second click, so I wasn't able to ride that. The issue with that one is more the legs, just because it has the restraint on your legs as well, too, your back and your legs. So, again, if you got bigger calves, then you may run into problems with that.
Well, let me ask you, because on the tester seat for Flight of Passage, if you are down there and you try it, is somebody of your party pushing that restraint up, or is a cast member coming over and assisting you with that?
A cast member is coming over and assisting. Well, this was pre-COVID, so it was a cast member.
Because I find it interesting that they seem to make it arbitrary that if you go down and you try the tester seat and it's a cast member who helps you and it works, that for some reason, whenever you get up to the top, they don't make it, they make it like an arbitrary. Well, I got you one click, but I'm not going to go ahead and push it again.
Yeah.
Which is really unfortunate. I mean, obviously, you lost 90 minutes of your park time while you're in there as well. So,
no, they did give me a couple fast passes. I'm not saying they're always going to do that, but
right.
They did give my party that was in line fast passes to do other rides. But yeah, and I told the cast member, I was like, well, because she goes, well, maybe you just barely cleared down there. I was like, no, the cast member down there said it wouldn't be an issue because I was more than halfway up the bar.
Okay.
So I've learned with some of these rides, like Flight of Passage I did in the morning. As soon as we got there, before I could eat anything or drink anything, I did that. Some of these other rides, I may attempt to go on it or may just deal with the uncomfortableness, like Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. If my daughter really wants to do it and wants me to go on it, then I'll go on it with her. But, and then so yeah, it's unfortunate that a lot of these seats seem to be getting smaller on some of the rides. But I just wish that the tester seats would match up to what the actual ride seats, how they work.
Yeah, it's just it's a little strange that sometimes they can be off. And I mean, who knows what is the actual, if there's an issue or whatever, or if it's just an arbitrary thing with the cast member, right? Like they just don't want to push it a little bit further for fear of maybe injuring you, and that creates liability for Disney, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you're down there for something like that and you do the tester seat, it would be nice if they could give you something that says, tried the tester seat and cleared. Like a sheet of paper, laminated something that is nobody else can make, and they just give it to you and blah blah blah. Whatever.
Right.
I don't. Maybe they can't do that. I don't know, but
I'm sure if they did that, someone would probably say they discriminated against them or something like that.
Maybe. I don't know.
So. And then the water parks. So I usually go to Aquatica in Orlando and then Adventure Island here in Tampa. And usually those are just weight amounts. So they'll say, if you're over, some of them are like 300 pounds, then this ride isn't for you, or it's not safe to go on the ride. So those ones, it's a lot easier because it's actual weight based, whereas the other ones, you don't know how they're measuring it, what the dimensions of the seats are.
Well, in the water parks too, they actually have scales that they will have you stand on. So that's also something to keep in mind as well. I mean, obviously the scale's not present for everybody to see. It's only present for the team member or cast member, whoever it is, to see that. But some of them do have scales that you have to stand on. And if you have a party of 4 and you're too heavy, they will divide you up, or you may not be able to ride at all. So again, I mean, my dad's larger, so those are things that we've encountered. Where he hasn't been able to do something, or we've had to split up into like a smaller party. So
yeah, and some of those are frustrating because it says, oh, you can't be, you and another person may be under what the combined weight is, but if one person's over what the single weight is, then they can't go on the ride. Which I guess safety reasons it makes sense, but it's also a little frustrating at times. But I mean, even not being able to, like with Universal, not being able to go on some of the rides, I still enjoyed it, had a good time. It was my first time going in a long time, so we weren't there that long because I think we were only there for like 3-4 hours. But I would still enjoy my time. There's still other things you can do, and I know each park maybe has a show or like at Magic Kingdom, the cavalcades is still enjoyable, fireworks. Or you just keep on doing the rides that you are able to do.
Yeah. Right. That makes sense.
Or you're just the person that has to wait in line to get butterbeer.
You're the best. Hey, Josh, so a butterbeer story. So we got frozen butterbeer. Eric got it for us. Brain freeze at the same time. That tells you how good friends we are. Same time. Wow. I'm shocked Ashley didn't get it on video because we were struggling.
Yeah.
That was probably my I wouldn't say my lowest moment of the week, because obviously I wore that nice Halloween jacket that I've been made fun of about. My outfit for
Pooh Bash?
No, my ducky with the Gold Gal Getaways customized Air Force Ones.
Oh, bowling.
Yeah, bowling.
Yes.
So, but it's I think it hit it's weird. I think it hit me more than it hit Eric when we were in Universal, where he was, I'm not going to say denied able to do things, but I mean, I don't mean this the wrong way. I'm glad that happened, so we were able to open this discussion a little bit.
Yeah, and honestly, I had never even thought about to search the websites to see what information they provided. I'm not sure how many people take the time to do that, but there's very limited information that they give you, and they may say if you have over 40-inch waist, you may have difficulty riding this ride. When I have over a 40-inch waist, and there's been times where I haven't had a problem riding a ride, or other times I do have a problem riding it. So my advice to the fellow Pooh sizers, the big people, fat people, however you want to go be referenced by, is just do the tester seats and don't be ashamed. Just because it could ruin your day, and it's really not worth it. There's a lot of other stuff to do at the parks that you can still enjoy. And like, I know for me at Universal, I probably would have felt worse if Matt and Ashley didn't go on the rides because of me, than having to sit off.
I think you enjoyed like us getting off the rides and like absolute horror. Like, that was my first time going into Universal, and like I didn't know, like we thought the Mummy was going to be like Jimmy Fallon or Despicable Me.
Gosh.
Yeah, that was a rude awakening real fast. We get off the ride and Eric's just laughing at us because we're just like, we have no idea what we just got ourselves into. I think I bashed heads with the woman next to me because I was just thinking we're just going, my glasses. It was a mess. In Forbidden Journey, the same thing. It's like, oh, this is kind of cool. You just kind of go around. Like, next thing you know, I'm on my head.
Yeah.
I guess I watched too many YouTube videos of of people going to the parks that I knew what to expect on some of those rides.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's a lot of good information right there, Eric. And it's, I mean, in being a travel agent, being able to supply that to our guests that are traveling to those parks that might run into these situations. That's always a good thing to have in our back pocket. That knowing what's a good ride and what's not a good ride, and what personal experiences some of our agents have had in these parks.
Yeah. Did you guys get a chance to see the stuff that Chrissy put together?
Bits and pieces of it. Eric, I'm a busy man. I was busy. I was watching another podcast earlier this afternoon.
Huh.
That was yours, Josh. And I was getting yelled. I was getting blamed for texting you. Oh wait, I wasn't this time.
That's right.
Well, Walt Taylor, not me. But
no, I haven't gotten to look at it yet. So
no, it is a lot of good information. Yeah. Like it breaks down what all the type of lap restraints that each ride has, and because like we said, there's if it's the single restraint ones, trying to think off the top of my head, like Everest, those ones are a little bit easier.
Oh wow, yeah, this is really nice. This is great.
Whereas like the bar ones or like Jimmy or the Despicable Me one that just comes down and doesn't stop.
Yeah, Josh, that's a lot of like that picture you're looking at. That's a lot of information that we're going to be able to share within our agents through the agency to guests that need this kind of assistance. So,
yeah, absolutely.
No, I will say the one thing I wish at Universal, some of the cast members may have been could have been a little bit more friendly. Like I asked for Fast and the Furious, what type of seating is it? And I was just like, it's just a regular bench. Like you could see I'm a bigger guy, and I didn't really care, but some people.
I think the biggest issue here, Eric, is did you ride Fast and the Furious?
Unfortunately, we did.
Unfortunately.
I feel bad for you. I'm sorry.
I think we talked about Josh. I think we talked about the next day, and you're like, "Did you ride it? What did you think?" And I don't even think I gave a response of just like, the hype of it. It's like the cars outside. You're going into the garage, and then it's like, oh, that's the ride.
The biggest disappointment ever.
The entire time, I'm like, I'm doing this for the client, so I can tell them what it's like.
Tell them to not waste their time.
Kong was a lot better.
Yeah, not by much though.
It was the original though. That's the thing. It was original, and then they're like, let's copy it but make it shorter and worse.
Yeah.
So, Eric? Did you have a lot of, or do you? I mean, is it something that you often ask just to see kind of what their response is? I mean, I know you said that it wasn't the greatest, especially there, because they were just kind of like, yo, dude, it's like it's bench seat, like whatever. Get on the ride. You're gonna be disappointed. Like, I mean, just because, I mean, just from the conversation and talking, and I think some people were talking about in the chat. Not that we're trying to single out any park is better than any other park, but
right.
It sounds like Disney tends to have a little bit of a better, maybe variety that is able to accommodate almost everyone. Compared to when you go to some place like Busch Gardens, which is a very, very heavily themed thrill park with a lot of roller coasters. So it's different, right?
Right. No, the only reason I asked is because I couldn't find a tester seat.
Okay.
So I didn't find a tester seat. So then I was like, that's why I asked, hey, what type of seating do you guys have? And do you have a tester seat? And he just kind of looked at me like, no, it's just a bench.
Yeah. Talking about that a little bit, Josh, is like the interaction with people working at Universal, what like obviously Eric had that one. It's like we were going on the Mummy, which you're not supposed to have anything on you, like backpacks, anything like that. You're supposed to put in a locker. We walked by multiple team members, workers, whatever you want to call them. Got all the way to the get on the ride, and they're like, "You can't have a backpack. How do you get that far through a queue?"
Yeah, they should be getting those people before they even enter the queue.
Right. Oh, I agree. It was just kind of like a hassle.
Yeah.
But, I mean that's my universal take for the week.
But I don't. Does Volcano Bay have the signs, the like weight limit signs? Because I haven't been to Volcano Bay yet.
Yeah. I mean, the last time that we were there, they definitely have explicit weight limits for the attractions. If they need one, I don't really remember seeing them like on any of like the racing style ones, but anything that's pretty much is like a tube base. I'm pretty sure almost all of them had a weight limit on, and I think the drop slides, the drop body slides had them too.
Were the racing slides like the ones in Aquatica?
The racing slides, I think so, right? Like they're like the little mat that you,
yeah,
like the little handles and go down. I don't remember seeing anything specifically for those, and I don't know if that's just just kind of being ignorant of myself and just going on. But the tubes is definitely one that that we noticed, just because it, like I said, with my dad and stuff, having kind of to deal with some of that stuff as well, we noticed all that stuff. So,
and I will say, do pay attention to the water parks, the weight limits, because I was at Aquatica and I was kind of right there on the edge and decided to go on it anyway, but was able to slow myself at the drops, because if I hadn't, I would have flown.
Oh, really?
Okay. Oh, yeah. So there's a reason why they have the weight limits. Right. It's because I probably would have flown the entire drop and landed pretty hard at the bottom, which would have been cool, but
you can't say that. That's not. I mean, that's not cool.
Got to do it for the internet, I guess. I don't know.
It's all for the views. That's
I know Volcano Bay definitely they will not allow, like, if you are over, if your group size is over, whatever, like they won't let you in. So they put the weight limit at the bottom. So I mean, that is kind of on everybody to kind of look and read. And I think, sometimes we all are kind of hopeful that, we're not going to reach that. But I mean, like it happens,
Yeah.
And like you said too, I mean, you can't try not to like let it bother you. There's plenty of other stuff to do. So, I mean, listen, when I go to Volcano Bay, I really pretty much just spend all of my time in the, if Taylor's listening, she'll correct me because I never get the name right, but the crazy river rapid thing where they basically require you to wear a life vest. Like, that's all. I just lay in there and I just get pushed around all over the place and kicked in the face by kids and other stuff. So, I mean, you can always do that. So it's fun.
I mean, I know Adventure Island in Tampa has like the cliff jump where it's just you jump off a 10-foot platform into the water. I wish they let you do cannonballs or something, but you have to go feet first.
Oh, wow. I didn't know they had that. We haven't been to that one yet. So,
yeah.
Huh.
It's a nice little water park.
Yeah.
I shouldn't say little, but it's like, I know we talked before, it's just getting there early, right when it opens, and stay until the day before the crowds come.
Yep. Cool. I mean, anything else?
I don't think so. I think we covered all the parks and all the rides and the tips. Just like we said, tester seats and don't feel ashamed.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like sometimes we should have almost like a resolution, right? If we approach something and we feel like we kind of have a problem, we should have a resolution. And I guess in this case, I guess that maybe sometimes there really isn't one. But I mean, we are moving into the holiday season, so I know specifically over at Universal there are plenty. Well, Islands of Adventure, if we're going to be real specific, there's plenty of really great stuff to do in the event that is unfortunate that you can't ride something. The Grinchmas show is like one of the best shows that you have to go see if you're at Islands of Adventure. Kind of the retelling of How the Grinch Stole Christmas, and it's great. And of course, character interactions and meet and greets are always fantastic. So I think the Grinch is going to be back this year. I think so. But,
Nice.
Yeah. Macy's Day Parade at Universal is always a good one as well. So some different things, especially with the holidays.
I have to do it. I've seen the one in New York, so we'll see how the one in Universal is.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
I mean, it's clearly better than the one in New York. Clearly.
Yeah, because you don't have to wake up at 4:00 in the morning to take the subway in and wait out in the cold for
right
for like 6 hours.
Yeah. So awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I will say thank you, Eric. I think it was a great topic. Definitely helpful. And yeah, I mean,
thanks for having me back on.
Absolutely. If you guys, anybody out there is listening, or if you're watching or listening in your car or doing whatever you're doing, if you think that we missed something or thought we should add something, feel free to send us an email, or you can send us a message on Instagram or on Facebook, and we will reply to you. Or you can drop a comment in the video. So whatever one is easiest for you. Yeah, and I'll throw it over to Matt.
I'm confused just due to the fact that we're going to actually have another episode next week. We're not going to take time off.
No, we will be back next week. Next Wednesday.
I'll say this just now, just because I know he's watching. Ryan, we know your episode is still in the bin. We have a recorded episode.
Oh, is it not?
We just never released it, and there's a reason for that.
Don't worry. It'll get released
someday. That episode will get released. But next week we're gonna go. What did we say? Wednesday. We're gonna go next.
I think we're gonna go next Wednesday. Yep.
We're gonna go next Wednesday. We are gonna have a new agent on. I just signed her up minutes ago through the phone. Amanda's coming on. Topic she doesn't know. I don't know either. But we got a lot of things we can talk about. The narrators just came out for the Candlelight Processional. Yes. One thing I really like to talk about a little bit. Royal Caribbean next week. Let's talk about that world cruise a little bit. That thing looks insane. And if anybody wants to donate so I can go on it, hit me up. We can be partners in crime. I'll be your buddy for 9 months.
Yeah, it'd be amazing.
And then we don't even have to talk to each other again. And then the news that came out yesterday, Josh, Richard Fain of Royal Caribbean stepping down first of the year. So
I saw that. Yeah.
That's some big news. So
it is.
We got a lot of things, and you never know what's going to come out next week. It's the holiday season.
Actually, we might need to have Pam back on to talk about cruising on Royal Caribbean, because she is on a Royal Caribbean cruise as we speak. So, yeah. So we'll need to talk about that. Definitely. And see how that experience is. Not that we try to compare apples to apples or apples to oranges. What is it? Royal Caribbean Disney. Royal Caribbean Disney. Royal Caribbean Disney. All right.
But other than that, make sure to like us on all our social media. Still trying to get to those numbers on YouTube, TikTok. A lot of new TikTok videos up, thanks to Taylor. Still trying to get to that, I think, 1,000. We're not going to do the Renegade Dance anymore because Josh and I won't be in the same place for a while.
We need to do something. We need to do something that's more relevant. How about that?
How about nothing? No. How about we just do nothing? Make sure to subscribe to TikTok. But the thing about it is on our TikTok, we got a lot of good information about Genie Plus, how to become a high score on Buzz Lightyear, all that kind of stuff. Eric, what's your email?
Eric Tolliver at goldgalgetaways.com.
Bam, there you go. Other than that, we're off to plan your next vacation. Sorry, I brain froze because we haven't done this in a while.
Bye, everybody.